The club we're talking about today we don't see many of anymore, and I need your help to tell me how old this golf club is. But it's a golf club for me which is still around, but maybe not marketed like it used to be. With shots like that, I don't really know why. The club we're talking about today is the elusive 1-iron. So how many people will tell me and will comment below saying I still have a 1-iron in the garage, I still have a Ping i2 1-iron, I still have a DTR, a Titleist 1-iron. A lot of people had these clubs in the bag many years ago, just like my dad. My dad's still got a 1-iron, he's still got a 2-iron from a Ping i2 set. So obviously not the latest technology, still uses it out there on the golf course, still hits it maybe better than his driver on occasions. But what's changed? And for me with these clubs, I think that's all that's changed is the number on the bottom. So this is a 17-degree club. So 17 degrees, we now start to see 2-irons coming in that kind of loft. So yes, I think what we've seen is just like we see with wedges. If you pick up a wedge and it's got 4 degrees of bounce, it strikes the fear of God into you. You're not happy, you don't want to use it around the green. All you think about is that you're going to thin that shot. And for me, I think all that they've done with the 1-iron is obviously called it a 2-iron, so it gives you a little bit more confidence. But that's two nice draws down there, one down the centre strap, one down the left half of the fairway. And as you will see, the club has seen better days, and also the shaft has maybe seen better days. So very interesting. We still have a dynamic gold in there. I believe it's an S300. We've got a vintage corded grip. But what's replaced this club? And it's something just like this that has replaced those 1-irons. So a 2-iron here from Tacoma. You can see a total different shape to that. We've got a lot more forgiveness, but we know there are the TaylorMade PUDI clubs. We know there's now a DHY from TaylorMade. We know you've got your Ping Gapper, and we know that you've got your Titleist versions of these. We've got the U505, which is a little bit bigger. And for me, obviously, it's a 2-iron. Again, strength-wise, this is 18 degrees, so 1 degree obviously different there. We know we've now got a more hollow body design, which has obviously moved on in times. I do believe that club could nearly be 30 years old. I saw the range was between, I think, 1987 and 1993, so the club could be older than I am. But obviously you saw with the flight we did get a high ball flight. Again, if I return the loft, if I put a good swing on that, we'll still get the loft. But again, before we hit this shot, the look down behind the golf ball, totally different look. And again, like we say, it's a little bit thicker there behind the golf ball. Loft wise, as we know, looks the same because it is 1 degree different. But is this giving me a little bit more confidence? Is that the idea? How does it do? So it didn't draw back, but still you can see there with the flight just as high as the first one from the DTR. So very interesting there. Yes, technology has moved on. Yes, we have got other options, but is it better? And get in the comments below, guys. Obviously, do you have one of these in the archives, in the garage? Is it under the stairs even? And just away. And why did you put it away? Was it that you were struggling to hit it? Obviously, back in the day, you probably wasn't fitted for this, just like the previous owner of this club, I know full well, wasn't fitted for this club. So, was it the right club for you? Did it still perform well? What did you replace it with? And would you think about getting it back out? So, interesting enough, here we have the 2-iron from, like you would say, the latest and greatest as such, but right in line with the first DTR. So flight wise, very similar, distance wise, pretty much identical. That was a lower one that has obviously ran out a little bit more, so we'll see that's probably gained maybe 5 to 10 yards. But let's jump in the studio and see what the numbers are saying. So certainly some interesting shots out there, and we know we talked about outside, we've got the same shaft length here. Yes, we have got a graphite and we have got an original steel, which as we know is pitting ever so slightly. It isn't the newest of clubs, but like we say out there, still performing like we'd expect. But what does it do in here? And that's interesting there. With that launch, you can see that we can still get that 1-iron to launch in here. 233 carry, going 250. So for a club that is, as you would say, is rather old, again, you will have seen, or I will be searching what year this came out. Certainly it is living up to its name. We are still getting the distance through research. Couldn't hit that one much better. It sits lovely behind the golf ball. Again, it sits fantastic, looks behind the ball, which gives me confidence. 233 going 250 again, so performing well. Still with the vintage dynamic gold shaft in there. All the technology, if you can say it was technology back then, it was. But obviously we know times have moved on. Let's see what that 2-iron does. So like I say, yes, graphite shaft, same length. We know this is more of a hollow body design, hotter face potentially. Let's see what it does. And total different feel. Trajectory right in the middle of those two. 237 going 250, so yes, that little bit further. Again, very interesting there to see how much technology has moved on. We're still getting very similar performance there, and it's the age-old question of what do you have in your bag. And if you've got a 1-iron, my dad's still got a 1-iron, he's got the Ping i2 1-iron, still uses it, still gets that out there nearly as far as driver, so why not still have that in your bag. Yes, we have got more forgiveness now from these clubs. Again, a great flight there, maybe 230 carry again, running out to 250. So numbers couldn't be much closer if we wanted them to. But yes, we're going to get a little bit more forgiveness here. But if you've got a club that you feel confident in, why not keep it in your golf bag? Do you need to get something new? Would you be better off? Yes, you might have a 1-iron that is 20, 30 years old, but if it's still doing the job that you want it to, even if you're starting to lose a little bit of speed, if you're still confident with that, then I would keep that in the bag and maybe look somewhere else in your golf bag, or maybe even into a lesson potentially. Do you need to work on a bit of your game, save the money, and go that way? And that's one big thing right there with that shot. You can start to launch them a little bit higher. We know the design to be able to do that now with the technology in there. 230, going 240, landing soft there with a 2-iron. Maybe we can't get it as high with that 1-iron. Do you want to see me put a premium shaft into this head? Again, a 1-iron, we don't see that. It's performed well out on the golf course, but could we change the setup? Could we change the shaft in there? Maybe get that little bit more launch that you saw with that last 2-iron with the Tacoma 101U. But let's get back outside now. Let's get onto a par 4 where you've really got to get one away. It's going to put us in a good position. Which one will fare the best? And have any of you still got a 1-iron in your bag? So very interesting numbers there inside, certainly showing that yes, we can get that little bit more launch potentially with this. It'll be very interesting to see if we did switch the DTR over into one of the latest graphite shafts. But numbers wise, distance front to back, very similar. So here's another hole. The 7th hole, as you'll see by the flyover, is a dog leg to the right. Driver normally runs out, and this is a club that will be used on this hole. And that is struck straight out of the middle. So, like I said, feels fantastic. As we know, even from Tacoma, only £130 roughly for this club. So, again, not the most expensive, but performs well. Certainly gets a good flight and a good ball speed. But how is that going to obviously get us to spend our money? Is it worth you going into the archives, going into that garage and getting out your classic 1-iron? It's just a number on the bottom, which I think it's more for marketing, more in your head thinking, well, I could probably hit a 2-iron, but I definitely can't hit a 1-iron. This for me sits fantastic behind the golf ball. Be very interested to see it with a graphite shaft, because it could easily go in the bag. And you can see there, you can launch that as high as you want if you get your setup correct. That is in the middle of the fairway. It'll be very interesting to see there how they compare. Yes, the Tacoma was a little bit lower on that occasion, but how far has it gone out on the golf course? And if we look up here now, these are identical distance. So the Tacoma and that DTR going the same distance. Yes, Titleist in the middle of the fairway. That again is not the club, that is more me and how I delivered it, but setting us up in the perfect position for this green. So comment below, guys, are you thinking about getting your 1-iron back out? Do you have a vintage 1-iron still in the archives? Are you going to give that another go? It's something that you could do. I don't think the lofts have obviously exactly changed much. Maybe they've changed that number on the bottom, but then it is obviously the technology in there. Yes, we will over time potentially get more forgiveness like we know out of the newer 2-irons, because we know we've got more perimeter weighting, we know times have moved on. We also know that obviously graphite shafts in there are going to have an effect, so it'll be very interesting if I can get a graphite shaft put into this DTR and see how it performs after. Do I get more distance? Do I get a better flight? Do I get more control? I mean, so far, even with the pitted dynamic gold shaft in there, some great performance. So guys, hopefully you've enjoyed that. We'll see you again later in the week.